When we talk about the coach philosophy and the building blocks, we're really talking about a complementary program to what the young people will experience at the First Tee. When we first set up everything as far as the coach education, we realized that you could have the best life skills program created, but if you don't have adults that are going to model, believe in what it is that you're trying to teach, it would all be for naught. So I think it's real important that you have adults that have a philosophy that is congruent with the organizational's efforts and what they want to accomplish. So we started off, actually it's a parallel program for coaches and players, and we have 3 levels of coaching. This year is actually a nice year because we're revamping everything, and we have some new experiences for coaches. And I think one of the things that I like as a consultant at the First Tee, we learn a lot from all the people involved, different levels, and we try to implement those kinds of changes. So the big changes or things that we're doing this year is we're making sure that, number one, that we reinforce some of the information without being repetitive. So they went and, as a prerequisite to this particular course, they did the ACT online. One of the things I've experienced as a consultant and as a coach is the fact that all my volunteers back at my chapter are more prepared for what it is that I'm trying to accomplish. And so they're ready to help in a lot of different ways and a lot more educated on the whole program. As a consultant, I think what we see is that the coaches are coming much better prepared. Now, some have been involved at chapters, but I think if I looked at the number that are at this particular level one, the first one for us this year in the West, I believe that there's probably 75% that have never written a lesson plan at their chapter. So they get to experience that after they see the trainers deliver. We used to present all the building blocks, and now what we've done is we've isolated building blocks and emphasized 1 or 2 at each of the levels. So one of the things that we do at level 1 is we're really getting coaches to get the kids involved in activities. So the first one is activity-based. And there's 2 mini blocks that are in activity-based, and it's doing versus telling and fun and seamless. So essentially what we're saying is how do you get young people to experience something before you tell them how to do it? All right, so let them experience it and then let them grow into that particular activity. The other thing that we've done this particular year with the release of the golf skills curriculum is we've kind of chunked the golf fundamentals, 9 golf fundamentals, into 3 sets for the first level, 3 sets for the second, and so on. So we're working on distance control, we're working on target awareness, and we're working on get ready to swing. All right, and then within that we have factors of influence, and we're really chunking that down. So distance is influenced by how long the lever is, how long the kid swings. So we can use kids' language would be how short do you have to make your swing, how long do you have to make your swing, and we talk in the language of the young people that we're trying to teach, so developmentally appropriate. Actually, I wish I had the microphone on a PGA professional that was here earlier today. Essentially, he said everything we wanted to happen at this particular level. So as I understand it, if I teach them about long, short, medium, they'll understand distance control eventually in their game. And it's not necessarily about how you have to teach it or how you hold the club immediately. It's get them to experience the relationships. Kids come to the programs with a desire to hit the ball far. So let's meet them where they're at. And after a few little lessons, then we can look at them, maybe understand. I saw a young man out here today that was cross-handed, and I was so pleased not to see one coach go up there and direct their intention away from distance control and go to how to hold the club. That was that was an aha moment for me, so I think we're doing something right. Well, I personally think that they could take the program to a different level, because I think they have a greater understanding of progression. We've mapped out everything to make it easy for coaches to really get this thing off and running. And one of the philosophical beliefs that we've had as development consultants is we've looked at the whole gamut of the coach education. So we have our focus is to get the coaches ready to get the kids involved in activity. At level 2, we really are now that the coaches have had these experiences, how can we make you even a better coach back at your chapter? So we actually have a good progression for the coaches as well. I have to say this is probably one of the best level 1s that we've ever done. We've added some nuances that I think one of the things, all the coaches are supposed to have some level of observation and back at their chapter. And so what we did this year is we actually added some mini activities where we broke down the big coach observation form into little segments, so coaches kind of get that fear factor out of them of, understanding what it is we're really trying to say. Hey, how does it look to a young person as far as, is it set up nice, inviting, engaging? And then for the coach, him or herself, how does the coach talk to the young person? Does she talk like they're talking to an adult, or do we use young person's language? So near, far, as opposed to other words that we could use. Okay?